Hi everybody, it's Kate here. Welcome back to another crochet vlog. Okay, we're on chapter 23, and honestly I'm not sure when I'm gonna post this. Considering doing it like the same week I posted the last part. I don't know. I do not know. But just I guess before we get started, like officially, it's funny because this is kind of coming to an end, and I'm excited, but at the same time I don't want to like stop. I don't want to let it go. But I do want to say thank you guys, because I'm finding myself finally getting back with my characters, getting back with the books and stories that I love, and you have provided me a space to share and be so vulnerable, and you make me excited to want to share and to get other people's opinions, and you make me feel like it's okay. And last September, almost a year ago now, I really didn't feel like that. I kind of lost that part of myself, and I didn't think that I'd get it back. And well, I'm kind of considering sharing things on Wattpad again, and still sharing them here on YouTube and stuff like that. Making some TikToks of some of my writing. I kind of dabbled with that a little bit, and I don't know, I kind of had some fun with it. And I've been a bit on a writing kick the last 2 or so weeks with A Witch's Debt, and which, for those of you who I guess follow me on Twitter, it's the bit of writing that I shared a while back, and I haven't really shared a ton since. And with a story that just kind of jumped its way out of my fingers, and now that's going to be a whole thing, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited, and I want to talk about it. I want to share, and I don't know, like, kind of just wanting to share and do the Wattpad thing and stuff, and kind of say screw those who make me feel bad about it, and I never thought I'd feel this way again. I really didn't. So, thank you. I did not want this to be emotional, but it's turned out to be, so thank you. Because you guys have given me back a part of myself I have been missing since 2018. And what happened in 2018 was I finished writing A Witch's Debt to, I think it was the July or the November NaNoWriMo. All I know is I have the shirt, but the shirt like didn't fit, and then it frayed. So what I did was I cut the logo off, and it's on my wall. And yeah, right by my copyright for Lost in Time. So yeah. But speaking of Lost in Time, let's kind of jump into it. So today's project is a crochet crystal ball. The second present for my friend's birthday, and I'm just so happy we were working with different yarn. Just so happy. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping I can get it done this week, because I think we're supposed to hang out on Friday. So if we are, I'll just give it to her then, which would be great, because I'm leaving in August and I'm not sure if we're going to hang out before then. I'd like to, but she's like really busy and stuff. And I will be doing like probably some sort of like update stuff or whatever on the real life things on the YouTubes. But that's neither here nor there, and that'll be in a little bit. So, yeah. Anyway, let's jump in. 5 minutes into the video. Emotions. Lovely. Okay, so previously on, we had chapter 22, which was Winter's Formal, and it started out really well for Eli. She was nervous but excited about Dimitri, and they had a great time. They were joking around, just being teenagers, goofing off, kind of like a prom type situation. But he got a phone call, and the entire mood changed, and he had to go. And she was like, go, catch up with me later, because it was an emergency, right? And he was like super upset. So he left, and it's like 9-ish. I think it was like 9. It was early. She didn't want to go back home so early, answering questions and stuff like that, 'cause she knew Pops and Eileen would be there. I almost said Eli. So, she kind of felt bad for herself, whatnot, had this giant, ugly teddy bear that he won her and stuff, and just, just one night. She just wanted one night. And Dracula came by. He had her dance with him. He bit her. He put blood on her cookies and the punch. So essentially, he took her blood, she took his blood. He had to kind of be sneaky about it. And yeah, she's a little quote unquote drunk without actually having had alcohol. But yeah, so that was pretty much what happened previously on Lost in Time. So, also, can y'all believe that we're 30 parts in already? This is part 31, I think, which is pretty amazing to me. So yeah. Without further ado, chapter 23, Hollow Eyes. I woke up to the sun streaming into my room, hitting my face. I felt awful. If this is what drunkards feel after a night out on the town, I was never picking up a drink. It wasn't worth it. As I rolled over moaning ridiculously, I felt like death. Rubbing my sore eyes, I noticed it was almost 10 in the morning, hours after I usually am up. What a weird feeling. I desperately needed a shower and coffee. A look in the mirror had me stumbling to the bathroom, determined to shower off the hazy zombie morning look. Yes, that's what I have right now, even though it's like 2:26. As I showered, I thought of last night's dance. Dim and I had so much fun. Did he call? I wouldn't have heard the phone in my hazed stupor. And Dracula. It was beyond creepy that he had been there at the dance. Had he seen Dim? Surely it wasn't Dim's family Dracula had signed that contract with, was it? Walker was a common last name, right? My gut told me differently, but I had no proof of any of it, and I had a feeling that if I asked, Dim wouldn't tell me. I hardly knew anything about him, nor he me. He me. Okay. Alright, I'm not questioning. Yeah. We were two very private people, and and though I was no expert in relationships, I didn't think that was great for success. So Dracula had been spying on me, had asked me to dance, bitten me, forced me to partake of his blood, and escorted me and the giant bear I had cuddled to sleep with back to the dorm building. It made no sense. I hopped out of the shower, wrapping a towel around my hair and myself, then rushed to find my phone hidden in the crumpled heap that was my dress. No messages. None. Heart sinking, I plugged it in and went back to blow dry my hair. But why had Dracula made me drink his blood? Call my name within this next week to settle the debt. Be it anywhere, anytime. I will come to you. Now go rest, little dove. My little dove. My little dove. The words echoed in my head again and again. Chills ran down my back as I realized why. The only way he could come to me, like he said, was if we were bloodbound, connected. I had some of his blood and he had some of mine, just enough to connect us and for him to hear my call. I sincerely hoped I hadn't had enough of his blood for him to control me, or worse, start the transformation to vampire. My little dove. Why my little dove? Why did he feel like he needed to say that? He had known me for only years. Thousands of years. Scowling fiercely in the mirror, I eyed my unblemished neck, hair now frizzy and dry as I plugged in my flat iron. You better not have some sort of 1,000-year crush on me. That's too weird, I mumbled to myself, ignoring the nervous cramps in my stomach. I wasn't going to think about it. It was just, no. A few minutes later, I had changed into a comfortable yoga outfit and stared at my phone. Nothing. No calls. Was something wrong? It had sounded like it was bad last night, but he didn't say anything. Yet, if it was bad enough, he'd call, right? Oh, for heaven's sakes. Huffing, I picked up the phone and dialed his number, hitting the green button before I could change my mind. It immediately went to voicemail, much to my dismay. Hey, Dim. It's Eli. I just wanted to check in, see if you're okay. If you need anything, don't hesitate to call, alright? See you when I see you, I guess? I ended the call, staring at the black screen again. Why did I have a bad feeling about all of this? By mid-afternoon, my nerves were shot. I'd done my usual Saturday things, homework, cleaned my room, cleaned the bathroom, dealt with the mice cages, examined my griffin egg for minuscule cracks, read, yoga, all the while listening intently for my ringtone to go off, but it never did. That didn't stop me from checking my messages and notifications every few minutes. Nothing. From anyone. Even the dorm was silent today, but I hadn't ventured out of my room, not even to the kitchen. My stomach was in knots. I couldn't eat anything. That feeling in my gut just got heavier and heavier. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. If only I knew what. I had had enough. I called Dim one more time and sent him a text message, doing my best not to be like that clingy girl that everybody hates, but received nothing in return. Enough was enough. I changed into jeans and a more modest top than my skimpy sports bra, threw on some tennis shoes, and went to knock on Dim's door. Dim? You in there? I didn't expect him to be. If his dad had said he needed him, then he probably wasn't here, but nevertheless, my hopes skyrocketed when this doorknob turned, and Clover answered the door, looking surprised to see me. My hopes deflated and fell like a popped balloon, but I forced a smile on my face. Oh, hey Clover, I was just wanting to see if Dim was here, but he isn't, so... He grimaced, nodding. Yeah, I'm just packing him a bag. He opened the door a bit more, inviting me in as he returned quickly, gathering Dim's clothes, a change of boxers, I didn't look, and necessities. I hovered by the door, watching awkwardly. Can I ask if everything's alright? The word alright nearly burned a hole in my tongue. I knew nothing was alright. Clover sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. Dimitri's mother is in the hospital ward. ICU. They don't think she's going to make it. He paused, studying me as if trying to see what I was made of. He doesn't want you there, Eli. I swallowed thickly, trying to overcome the well of hurt that threatened to overwhelm me. Wow. Clover winced, biting his lip and sighing heavily, running a hand through his dirt brown hair. I never noticed he wore it in a ponytail, as it was decently long. But regardless of that, he needs you, Eli, to keep him sane and help him through this. So, would you come with me, please, to the hospital ward? He needs me. He needs me. It still hurt that he didn't want me there, but if he needed me, nothing was going to stop me. Nodding, I noticed Clover nearly sagged in relief. Just let me change real quick, otherwise I'm ready to go. I ran back to my room, ignoring how Charlotte watched me with her eyebrows raised, and Oh, and as fast as was humanly possible, I had gathered my things, wallet, keys, creds, all of my work backpack, and had thrown on a jacket. I didn't know why I felt like I needed to bring my work bag, but I didn't question it. Clover was already there, waiting patiently by the door. The rest of us are already there with the Laveaux. Madeline isn't the best at cheering people up. Flirting isn't usually the best technique when it comes to mourning individuals, he said quietly as we made our way down the stairs. I bit my lip to keep from saying anything. Of course Madeline would try to flirt. She had no idea what boundaries were. I didn't want to admit it, but I was worried. I'm taking a swig of water. Raid was a siren. Hardly anything could make them sick. It just didn't happen. What could be so bad that she would be hospital-ridden? Clover led me to a large tree, putting his hands on it and speaking softly, petting its thick trunk. All thoughts went away as I watched, transfixed, as the trunk groaned, unraveling and breaking apart to reveal a good-sized hole of darkness. Clover's skin looked greener than usual as he stood back, grabbing my hand. Hold on, it's going to be a bit dark and suffocating for a while. It will take about 20 minutes to get there. That was all the warning I got before he pulled me through with him, and he was right. It was like I was being pulled and stretched through the tightest tube ever. I couldn't hear anything. There was no difference between having my eyes open or closed. I could barely breathe, and all I felt was Clover's firm grip on my sweaty hand. I didn't let go for anything, even as my hand began to cramp. There was no concept of time, but I was thankful when we came out of the ground. However many minutes later. The sun was blinding and everything was loud, but I could breathe again. I laid on the ground, coughing repeatedly. It's time. A bit of warning, please. I gasped, stumbling to my feet. He stood there laughing a little, but he was still worried, I could tell. We were in some sort of large atrium, plants of all kinds, everywhere, with people who looked like Clover laughing and milling around. We were on the top floor of Goma, lily pad acres, where the plant shifters and those connected to the earth worked, restoring dead species of plants or preserving the endangered ones. They covered the entire top floor of Goma, needing the close proximity to the sun and the vitamin D to keep everything running. Goma did its best to control distribution of the strongest, most dangerous plant ingredients, thus they did their own farms for them. This was where a large portion of Goma's revenue came from, these farms and a few other businesses. Clover fumbled in his pockets, pulling out a heavily creased visitor's day pass and flashed it at the guards before towing me along through the body scanners, depositing our bags for search. Just stick with me. Goma's a bit complicated for a newbie. I bit the inside of my lip, trying not to say what I was thinking. I work here, dummy. My credentials could get us through most anything here. But he didn't know that, so I was going to not take offense to that comment much. So he led me to the hospital ward, keeping up a running commentary on what everything was, basically reading off the signs and getting us lost twice. Finally, we made it to the ICU unit of the hospital ward. Narcus and Caroline were off to the side, having a muttered conversation. I didn't miss how Narcus's eyes were puffy and red from lack of sleep and crying. Trevor was sitting off to the side, busy on his laptop, as Ariana was holding Victor in her lap, both of them doing something on Trevor's iPad. Madeline was pressed up against Dim, who looked like crap, very much like his father. Dim's friends, minus Clover, were milling around, being there for their friend. Clover snatched my hand again and dragged me over as if I was going to walk off. As if... Hey, I'm back. Got your stuff and brought Eli with me too, he said in a rush, putting his bag on the floor and dropping my hand. Dim's head shot up, eyeing me wildly. What? Clover? Douche! I told you I didn't want her here, he growled, glaring at Clover. I bit my tongue, resisting the knee-jerk response to flinch and say something we both would regret. He was already hurting enough. It was just his coping mechanism to lash out. I hoped. Madeline stared at me with a smirk. I refused to look at her, stomach curdling with jealousy. I should be there comforting him, not her. So not the time, Eli. The guys winced in sympathy as soon as he said that, and Blake whirled around, staring with his mouth open. Clover grimaced. Realizing what he said, Dim blanched, rubbing his face with his hands and jerking away from Madeline as he stood up. Leah, can we talk? In private? He asked me lowly, and pressing my lips together, I nodded and led him down the hall a bit. both of us ignoring how Caroline and Marcus were watching us. Secure in our little private corner, he leaned against the wall and began to talk. I didn't mean what I said, not like that. It's just stressful. Mom's... I'm sure Clover has already told you. He clenched his jaw at his friend's betrayal, but continued. I got your messages and calls, but I didn't answer them because I didn't want you to be worried. Idiot, of course I'm worried about you. You don't need to deal with this, Mom. Mom will be alright. Liar, I can read you like a book. But I don't want you here, Leah. I don't want you to see me. He swallowed, blinking. Write down. And with you here, it'll just be worse. I don't want to cry in front of you. So, could you just go, please? Thanks. He turned away and walked back to his friends, to Madeline, away from me. I felt like I had just been punched in the face, stabbed in the chest. That hurt. He didn't want me there. Didn't want me to comfort him. Because he didn't want me to see him break down. And yet Madeline and practically everyone else could be here for him when he so desperately needed his friends. But I felt like I would be selfish if I stayed. Clearly he didn't need me after all. Now I knew why I brought my backpack with me. When I was upset, working helped. But I wasn't going to leave without at least seeing Raid. Getting a glimpse to see if I could tell what was wrong. That required me to walk past Caroline and the rest of them, let them see me walking away, but I was too numb to let that affect me. So I walked slowly, mustering up a half-hearted smile as I walked past them all, ignoring how Blake smacked Dimitri on the back of the head, calling him a bad name. My attention was focused on the figure laying on the bed behind Caroline and Marcus. Raid. Her usually gorgeous pale skin was sickly, almost decaying off of her bones like flaking scales on dead fish. Her dark brown hair, usually gorgeous and shiny, was falling from her head, her deep blue eyes closed, sunken into her skull. She was really sick, almost like she was dying. Then I froze. Like she was dying. Because she was. Her moon pendant lay on her neck, almost dark black because it was empty of the magic. Moon magic. The one thing that kept sirens alive if they chose to give up their immortality. To have a family. Raid's time had run out. Breathing quickly, I made my way to the elevators at the end of the long corridor, hitting the button to go down, my hands shaking with my revelation. I felt it in my bones, that it wasn't her time yet. She couldn't go, not when Dim and Narcus needed her. There has to be something in the vault, or a relic I can go collect, something. Maybe Simon knows. Someone shouted at me as I stepped into the elevator, then a body crashed into mine just as the elevator dinged, closing its doors. Eli! Blake yelled again, jerking me out of my heavy thoughts. I was quite irritable after just being rejected by the guy I like. That's just being selfish, Eli. He's hurting right now. He didn't mean it. He's just a massive git, and you know that, he said desperately, looking at me imploringly. Swallowing, I sighed. Look, he meant it, Blake. He doesn't want me here. Man, that was hard to say. There's just a lot going on, and he doesn't want you to be part of it. No, dang it, that's not what I meant. It's just he doesn't want you hurt or caught up in this entire mess. He went on, talking in circles and contradicting himself. Whether or not what he was saying was true, Dimitri had sent me away. That hurt a lot. Blake wasn't really helping, but at least he was trying. So when the elevator reached sublevel C, I let him keep talking as he followed me to DOD. Xander waved at me, doing some menial paperwork, his eyes on the computer monitor. Where are we? Blake stopped talking for a minute, looking around. I sighed again, waving at him to follow me as I walked back to my office. nodding at Trevor, who eyed my company curiously. "Oh, hey, Eli. You wouldn't happen to know why Simon wore a bright purple suit earlier today and did selfies, would you?" He snickered as I turned around and shrugged, smiling genuinely for the first time today. I could always count on Trevor, and yes, even Simon unknowingly bringing my mood up. I was going to have to check his Facebook. Then my thoughts went back to Dim, and I was back to being grumpy as I unlocked my office. "Welcome to the Department of Diplomacy, Blake." Throwing my door open, I tossed my bag down as I sat down in front of my computer, booting it up. Surprised, Blake walked in, looking around at my office. He examined the photos and maps decorating my walls, noting the lines drawn all over them in red ink, little pins stuck everywhere that made no sense to anyone but me. Each traveler had their own system of keeping track of important hotspots. He took in all of my files and cabinets, the mirror, and my desk. "Eliana Bishop, Senior Keeper," he read out loud, holding my desk plaque. Stunned and confused, he stared at me. I shrugged. "I work here." "But what is this place?" He put my plaque back and sat down, scooting forward to rest his elbows on his knees. "Basically, this is where you come when you have a racial or species dispute that can't be solved on its own or through those respective offices, but mainly we deal with dangerous artifacts and relics, one of which may be able to save raid." Squinting at my screen, I began to type keywords into the search box, checking our files for anything that might be siren and immortality related. We had to have something. Blake froze. How did you know she was dying?" "Clover told you, didn't he?" "No, Blake, he didn't. I know she's a siren. I bet I know a heck of a lot more about her kind than you do. I know they live in the deepest, most dangerous parts of the ocean. A lot of marine life attacks are actually caused by sirens. The moon is their patron, and they are immortal, but the way they stay immortal is to kill and eat humans. Men are preferred, but not actually necessary. Their voices can sink cruise ships, which coincidentally happened just 2 months ago. Over 500 lives were lost." I winced, remembering how frantic the office work had been. Simon had been a nightmare that week. But even sirens desire the things they can't have. Souls. They feed on humans to keep their souls from degenerating, leaving them huskless beings on the seafloor. They desire love, family, all the things we have. So they pray to the moon, but only the lucky ones are granted their wish, an opportunity to come to the surface and live for a year to find love. If they do, they get a moonstone, a pendant that has enough of the moon's energy to keep them alive for a long human life. They lose their immortality, leave their families, their homes for a chance of something more. But Raids is running out. She'll be dead by the end of the week, I reckon. If I can't find a suitable replacement first. Blake stared at me, his mouth open. Okay, sorry about that. My mom's sick right now, and I needed to go take care of something for her. Let's see here. Blake stared at me, his mouth open. "You're right. I didn't know that," he said after a moment, floored. I stopped typing for a minute, staring at him in earnest. "I know what it's like to lose a parent, Blake. It's horrible, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So, regardless of Dim and I's feelings towards each other right now, regardless of if he wants me to be there for him right now, I am going to do my level best to find a way for Raid to live." Blake frowned, slouching in his chair. He looked exhausted, like he was about to fall asleep. "He's really lucky to have you, you know," he said it quietly, nodding off. "You're just a mystery," he murmured, head drooping. I watched this, biting my lip. Sleep well, Blake," I whispered before getting back to my search. "There has to be something, and I won't stop until I find it." And that is chapter 23? Chapter 23? Yes. Hollow Eyes. Because, I can't have them have one happy day. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Dimitri, why? So for those who do get to this point, who's quote unquote side, if you want to, like, I don't want to say take sides, but like, do you understand Dimitri's side, or are you more firmly on like Eli's side, or are you kind of understanding a little bit of both? Like, yeah. Raid. It's funny, really, because Dimitri's relationship with his father, at least in this iteration, is not the best, because his dad's kind of a hard guy, but the entire family's hard. But he has such a huge, close attachment to his mother. His mom is his everything, and he really likes Eli. He does not want to break down, but is it he doesn't want to break down, or doesn't want to let her in? And it's hard, too, because when you want someone to let you in so badly, and yet, yeah. But on the flip side, you let somebody in, and then they really hurt you, and then your first instinct is to guard your heart very closely. Speaking from experience here. Yeah, it's hard. It's very difficult, you know? Man. Feelings are messy, aren't they? I don't like them. I'm not a fan. Don't like them. I hate them. But yeah. 1 week. 1 week, and Raid is possibly going to die. Hopefully Eli will figure it out. Maybe. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it. Here's to hoping we got a decent chunk of the little project done. It's supposedly supposed to be a bit small, so hopefully I can at least get the orb part done. Then I got to get the base done. So, yeah. Here's to hoping, anyway. I'm still trying to decide what the base should be. Should it be black, or should I go with, like, a gray? Because I do like the gray as a base, and then the crystal ball, and then it's also supposed to have, like, little accents of, like, a little twinkle. And they were recommending doing, like, a light gray for the twinkle, but I'm thinking I could do white for the twinkle if I do a light gray base. What do we think? Black base with the... What color is this? What color is this? Eggplant! Oh, that's lovely. God dang it. Eggplant. Okay. With the eggplant color... Sorry, I'm not doing it. I'm just going to say it's like purple. It's not purple. What is that color? Mauve? I think it might be mauve. Black base, mauve, and then gray twinkle, or gray base, mauve, and white twinkle. Let me know. That would be awesome. Anyway, guys. I will see you all probably next week with this, honestly. Yeah, I might just, for a little bit, do, like, double uploads until it's done. It's funny, I just don't have a lot of time for YouTube right now, but I don't want to, like, stop it. So I'm just kind of going with what I want to do right now of the things that I have done. I'm taking a little bit of a break, I think, from Stardew Valley, just because I kind of need one. And I'm doing a little bit more with my stories and stuff like that. And yeah, we'll kind of see where it goes. You never know. But yeah, I'm not, like, done with YouTube. Don't get me wrong, not done. Just, I've been going, and now with everything that's going on in my life, I need something to take a step back, and that's going to unfortunately be YouTube. But I can't lie and say, I won't lie. I am slightly enjoying a little bit more of a break from the schedule, because I was going pretty hard there for a while. Not like everyday uploads, but pretty much. But thank you all for being patient with me, and yeah. So I really appreciate it, and I love you guys more than y'all will know. So yeah. I will see whoever I see next week. And I hope you enjoyed this part, even though it was emotional pain. Alrighty, have a great week, guys. Bye!